Hello there, ladies, gentlemen, and miscellaneous whatever the hell Tumblr's come up with so far this week. I've been hearing a lot of complaints regarding the progression system for Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I gotta be honest with you, while I can see some faults with it, which I'll get into shortly, I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people are making out. Because, well, let's take the big issue here that most people are complaining about, Boba Fett. Now, Boba Fett, if you are lucky or rich enough to buy your way to the Death from Above Platinum card, then it says here, damage reduction using jetpack 100%, which seems pretty game-breaking. Read the screen. Boba Fett takes less damage while using rocket barrage while flying with his jetpack. So, 1, you need to have fuel for your jetpack. 2, you need to be using rocket barrage, which is a rechargeable ability. So, yeah, I mean, even assuming that you've got, like, quick refill and, you know, if you're timing it perfectly with your rocket barrage so that you're invincible, you're not going to be up there all the time, and nor are you going to be invincible all the time. So there's nothing stopping you from shooting Boba Fett. He's not actually invincible. Yeah, I will agree it's a bit poorly worded, but all the information's there. So, and it's also worth noting that because Boba Fett is a hero character, you already need to have, it's about, what, 5,000 points to play as Boba Fett? And, you know, that's only going to happen once, maybe twice, if you're an absolute god at the game, per match. So, you know, if you're pouring all of your money into getting these star cards for a momentary boost, I wouldn't really call that pay to win. You're still a loser if you've got so little else going on in your life that you're spending all your spare time and money getting these star cards that you can be broken in the game for maybe 2 seconds. If you have no concept of how to play the game and actually have fun, then that's your problem, not mine. Now, I do have a specific issue with the loot crate system. I mean, I have issues with loot crates in general. I think they're borderline gambling, exploitative nonsense that needs to piss off from gaming and never come back. But, you know, I'm only one person, and until I start my own games company and lead the way, then we're just kind of stuck with it. Let's take the officer, for example, because it's the only relevant example I've got here. If I want to unlock his blurg pistol, which incidentally is pretty funny, now I have to pay 600 scrap for that. I don't know why it's scrap and not credits. Surely, if you'd buy a gun in the Star Wars universe with credits, you wouldn't be swapping bottle caps for it. But that's how I do it. I would make it so that guns you can unlock with credits earned in matches. Mods, feel free to keep them at scrap, because that way the low drop rate for scrap isn't as important, because you're not going to be getting all of the mods anyway. I mean, like, for example, there are 3 mods available, you can only equip 2 of them. So, see what I'm getting at is that way the low drop rate for scrap is so much less of an issue. It also means that progression is back in the hands of the players, which means if I want to get the blurg pistol, I can just buy the blurg pistol. Same for a sniper rifle, same for anything else. Star cards, because they're not that game-breaking, there's nothing I consider to be massively different between a lot of them. I mean, let's take Battle Command Strike here, for example. All it does is up the radius by a few meters. I mean, if you're using that, then chances are everybody's already clustered together. It's not likely to make so much of an issue. So, I don't get it. I don't get why people are complaining about it. Like, yeah, obviously, people that have got all the platinum cards are going to have a tiny, tiny advantage over you. But they're not invincible. There's nothing stopping you from killing them. So you're not going to be sitting there going, oh, I got killed by another hacker, oh, for God's sake. I mean, obviously, hackers are going to be a problem, but, you know, probably not so much on the PS4, but obviously the PC's kind of a lot more open to hacking. So what I would do with the loot crate system, if you absolutely have to have it, then I'd keep all the victory poses and the emotes and stuff like that. You can have those in your loot crates if you absolutely have to. Same goes for like rare skins and stuff. Like if there is going to be character customization, which is not available in the beta, I've not seen any hint of it. So if there is character customization, then bully. But honestly, there's not really much you can do with it. You know, like in the original Star Wars Battlefront, you could play as a stormtrooper with a different coloured shoulder pad if you reached a certain level. Whoop-de-doo. You know, there's just not really that much room for customization and skins and stuff. So keep the emotes, keep the victory poses, and frankly, keep the star cards in the loot crates. Because again, they're not as game-breaking as you think. So that's what I do. And weapons, make them buyable with credits, because that way people can just pick and choose what they want. They can build their class as they want and play the way they want, which is how it should be working anyway. If you absolutely have to nerf that Boba Fett card, then go ahead, but I don't really see it as that big of a problem, because frankly, if someone's already earned the 5,000 points necessary to actually play as Boba Fett, then they're already kicking your ass. What's the problem? You know, it's not like it's entirely Boba Fett's fault that you're losing, okay? You were losing already. Okay? And I would also... This level up system makes no sense to me, because you have to have star cards to equip more star cards. It just seems stupid. So I would just have it as a traditional level up system. That's how I'd personally go about it. So that means that if you are one of the people that just has to unlock everything, you can still get your loot crates. You can still pay real money for them if you absolutely must. And therefore, you are still going to be, you know, doing your stupid glorified gambling to see if you can get a boosted star card, because you think it's going to help when it really won't. And that's another thing that you got to think about, is that who are the kind of people that are spending all of their money on these loot crates? Poorly supervised 13-year-olds with daddy's credit card. They generally aren't the most skilled players out there, people. You know, if you're crying because you're losing to a 13-year-old, then make like the Dark Souls community and get good. So, I mean, at this point, I'm playing on really low-grade, basic, bare-bones Wi-Fi. Like, my tower block isn't actually capable of high-speed broadband, so the best I can get out of my router is about 6, maybe 7 meg. It's absolutely terrible. I'm still able to play, but I am naturally a bit more prone to lag problems than other people. I'm also currently playing with a control pad with a severely worn-out left analog stick. So I'm playing on crappy laggy Wi-Fi with a broken controller, and I'm still able to hold my own. Insert penis joke here. But if the game is pay to win, then why am I not getting killed by all of these ridiculous broken tactics? I'm not. I'm getting killed by legitimate play. So stop being a bunch of whiny babies. The game is nowhere near as pay to win as you're crying about. It's just not. Okay? Yeah, there are some problems with the progression system. I've been over that. But it is still perfectly tenable. It's still perfect. You're still perfectly able to play with what you're given. Now, obviously, I said you could make guns purchasable with credits rather than scrap. That would be a huge step in the right direction. Or failing that, why don't you make them unlockable through specific challenges? Like, for example, when you play the Heavy Trooper for like 10 minutes, you get the Heavy Starter Crate, which gets you his alternate weapon in the beta. Maybe you could do stuff like that as daily challenges. You know, maybe that's another way around. Maybe you could combine the two. And the last thing that they need to fix for the full game is you need to be rewarded for your skills in the form of getting more credits the more kills you get. That's how I'd operate it. Because when I'm playing Starfighter Assault, I am an absolutely amazing pilot. Especially if I'm in an X-Wing or a TIE Fighter. So I'm getting plenty of kills. There was one match, it was about an hour ago, I think it was a 12 kill streak, which is pretty good. And despite that, and I got MVP and everything, I still didn't get any more credits than anyone else, which means that there's not really any incentive for me to play well in terms of unlocking stuff. So, even if it's only like a 20% bonus for being the MVP or something, or, you know, maybe each individual kill earns you a set amount of credits. So the more kills you get, the more credits you get. And obviously for that reason, hackers need to be banned, because I've seen screenshots of one guy with 151 kills, and I'm sorry, there's no way that's legit. Yeah, so hackers need to be banned permanently, you know, possibly from all future EA servers, you know, and that's essentially how you'd fix what few issues this game has, because at the moment it's great fun. I mean, and one last piece of advice, if you are really, really crying about this loot crate system, and you feel that you've got to spend a bit of extra cash to get yourself a boost, here's what you do. It's exactly what I plan to do. Go on eBay, and you can buy the full retail release for less than 40 quid right now. So don't bother getting the 70 quid, you know, deluxe edition or any of that nonsense, because there's no season pass for it anyway. You're not getting much. So just buy yourself the base game, physical copy, off eBay for 40 quid, and then spend the 20 quid you would have had to spend on the digital copy getting yourself some loot boxes. Problem fucking solved. That way, you get your game, you get your starting boosters, you're okay. Right? So, that's how you fix Star Wars Battlefront 2, right there. And with that in mind, that's my 2 cents on the matter. Stop your whining, stop your crying, and it's nowhere near as broken as some other games. Like For Honor, for example, was a far more broken system than this. Yes, it's annoying that loot crates are a part of our gaming lives now. Yes, they should bugger off, and greedy executives should learn to make more money by simply selling more games. You know, like everybody else does. You know, that's how commerce works, and the nonsense, corruption and greed that's running rampant through the gaming industry needs to be checked. But at the moment, the game is still perfectly playable, it's perfectly fun, you're not going to come up against super broken players with amazing star card combos. So, just enjoy the game, folks. I'm going to right now. I'm going into Starfighter Assault, I'm getting in my X-Wing, and all these noobs that are flying around with their supposedly broken star card combos are going to get a proton torpedo up the exhaust pipe. Because it doesn't matter how broken you make your character, there is no match for actual skill. So, that's my 2 cents. I hope you enjoy the game, and I hope that this ridiculous, whiny bitch fest about the loot crate system comes to an end.